Hello everybody and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs and today I have this super vibrant and really fun Slimline card to share with you. So let's jump right in. So first I am going to create my base in layers. So a Slimline card, I like to make them 7 by 8.5 inches, which means scored it would be 3.5 by 8.5 inches. There are a few different measurements. That's kind of my preference. And then for my 2 layers, I have a HammerMill piece of cardstock that I'm going to blend on. It will be 1/4 inch smaller than my base, and then my black mat will be about 1/8 inch smaller than my base. And that's just because I like to have a thin layer and I love to mat things. I feel like it just frames things beautifully. And when you have such vibrant blending, like we're going to have in this card, I love that. It kind of gives it a finished look to me. So not necessary to do the layers if you don't want to, but I do feel like it just kind of adds just that little bit of something extra when it frames that blending. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then here you're going to see me score the base at the 3.5 inch mark, like I said. So the base will be 3.5 inches by 8.5 inches. Again, that's just my preference. I know that there's one where you can do it. It's like 4 by 8.5, but I prefer the 3.5 by 8.5. So let's jump right into the ink blending. So for this, I'm going to use 3 colors of Distress Oxide ink. I have Squeezed Lemonade, Carved Pumpkin, and Barn Door. And this is a blend I don't think that I've ever done before. And don't ask me why. Well, you can ask me why, because I know what it is. Generally, I don't like red. So that will be why. And I shouldn't say that. I don't dislike red. I just find that red is one of those colors that I just don't reach for. Because to me, if I'm going to do a color blend, I'm always going to reach for pink over red. And so I generally just don't use red. So I thought I was trying for a more traditional sunset. I mean, you could have added pink here. I mean, I have done it. So you can absolutely do it if you want a more pink toned sunset. But I wanted something that was a bit more realistic. I mean, it's still not realistic, but you know what I mean? Like I wanted colors that you would see in a sunset or a sunrise. At least I have seen these colors. So you could absolutely do pink in place of red, and I have done it before, but I was just trying something a bit different. I would really like to this year use all of the Oxide ink colors that I've never used, and there's a few. I mean, the browns especially, but there are a few. Like I haven't used plaid. What's that plaid one? The what just came out, it's a red. I think I might, oh no, I think I used it once actually. I'm lying to you. I did it in a Christmas card. But I'm trying to use all of the all of the Oxide inks that I have never used before. So you may see some colors like Victorian Velvet the other day. I don't think I've ever used it. So now I've used it twice. So I'm going to try to work through the colors that I have not used before, just so that, I'm using what I have, because you guys know I'm a big believer in using what you have in your stash. So that is what I like to do. Now this stamp is the Tim Holtz Tree Line stamp, but it's a clear stamp for me because it came in one of the kits that you can get in Michael's. I think it was an inking kit. Because when I first, years and years ago, when I first started kind of creating cards, I bought a few of Tim Holtz kits. So you got kind of random stuff in them. Like I think I got the alcohol ink kit and the stamping kit. And I think it came with some like brown distress inks, then the minis and this little tree stamp. But this is a legit Tim Holtz stamp. It's just, it's only it's the see-through silicone because it came in the kit. The actual tree line stamp set is red rubber. So I really should buy it. I've said that a few times because I like these trees. I think they're cool. So I really should just go and buy that set. But currently I just have this one tree and I think it's kind of funny. And then I used the Vault World Traveler wafer die. So you can see it here on the little piece of magnet sheet I have there. So I used the globe for the circle, the globe, and I'm going to use the actual landmarks as well, like the pieces of land. And I cut them out in white and black. Now, I know you're going to be shocked if you watch a lot of my videos. I didn't add shine or shimmer to anything. Don't ask me why. Well, I should stop saying that. You can ask me why, and I can tell you because I'm trying to do different things. Sometimes I'm worried that I get a bit not stuck necessarily, but I I feel like I'm making the same cards. And I don't know if that's helpful to you guys, because then I'm not really showing you anything interesting and new. You could just be like, yeah, Ciara's already made that card 2 years ago. It's the same card. You know what I mean? So I'm trying really hard to try different things and kind of, I don't know, see what I can come up with, kind of push myself to be creative in a different way with fun products. So this is a brand new die set. This just came out like last week. And it's really funny. I actually wasn't going to buy this set. I got the 3 that I really wanted, and I didn't get the World or the Pocket Watch. And I was like, I don't need those. And then I watched the live. And somebody, I'm sorry, I think it was Paula. She made this like traveler thing that you could put like your passport and your tickets and stuff in. And I was like, okay, I need that die set. So I had to go and buy the globe. I have the Pocket Watch on order. Those lives are just dangerous because they make me want all the things, because the maker team is just so talented that I like watch them and I'm like, I need all this stuff. I even bought the matchbook, which is funny, or the matchbox, which is funny because I actually own the bigs for the matchbox. You guys will have seen, if you watch my videos, I made an advent calendar for my husband with the matchbox 2, 3, maybe 3 years ago, I think. Yeah. So it's kind of funny, but yeah, I did actually buy that. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I would really like to make a 3D make, so I probably use it in that. But yeah, so I cut out all the layers in white and black because the only color that will be in this card is the background. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm like having a little hiccup. The only color in this card is going to be that ink blended background. And then I wanted to spell out Adventure Awaits with the font. And Tim Holtz has a huge point here. Even if you don't care about the globe, this font is cool. Like, it doesn't look like much in the die set, but when you actually go to use it, it's neat. So I obviously only get one of each letter. So I had to run through the E and the T and the A twice. Well, the A gets 3, but the E and the T are twice. So I ran that through. I layered them up. I cut out 3 layers of the letters because I wanted to layer them up, give them a bit more weight on the card. And I did them in black just because, again, I wanted to introduce a whole bunch of white and black to this. I shouldn't say a whole bunch. I don't end up with as much white as I intended. You'll see at the end, I do end up adding some extra white because I felt like there wasn't quite enough. But I just really wanted this to be very graphic. And so I didn't want to take away by adding extra colors and kind of taking your eyes away from that really cool sunset or sunrise, whichever you prefer. I've seen these colors in both, so I don't think it really matters. But yeah, so I'm just going to cut those. And I use my little sidekick for this. You could, of course, use the switch. I use the switch to cut out the world because the globe won't fit through the sidekick. But you don't need to use 2 die cutting machines. I just happen to have them. So I happen to like to use what I have. So, and this is just so handy when they have like little things because it's so quick to run it through. Whereas when I do my switch, it takes a while to actually go through. So for letters, I kind of find it a little bit tedious, but it works. And then I layered it up. I'm going to show you it here. Just the ending of it. I've already done like the 2 layers. So this is just the top layer. And isn't await just kind of a cool word? Like, I love how the letters nestle together. I know that it has nothing to do with anything unless you enjoy typography, but I just thought that word was really cool. But yeah, so I just did Adventure Awaits, and I'm going to have the globe, and then I have, that really vibrant background. And this card, I didn't know what I was going to do with this card. I sat down and I knew I wanted to use the globe, and I knew I kind of wanted it to be like a sunrise or sunset. But this is another card where I didn't really have a plan. Like, it came together as I sat down and thought through it. Whereas sometimes I sit down and I know what I'm going to make. Like, I can see the card in my head and I sit down and I just have to make what I can see in my head. But this one, I didn't really have that planned out. Like, I knew what elements I thought I wanted to use, and that was kind of it. So as far as actual products in a card, this doesn't have that many, because you could ink blend with any inks you have as well, especially if they're water-based, because those I find ink blend better than different basic wheel-based and whatnot. But you could ink blend with any inks you already own, and then it's really just one stamp and one die set. So it's not using, because some cards I make use a fair amount of products, which is good in the sense that you're using what you have in your stash. But if you're kind of, starting out or looking at, building your stash or using what you have, they can just take a lot of things. So this is actually pretty pretty great in the way that it just uses really two things and some inks. Like, it's pretty neat that way. So I thought that it was pretty neat, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I think this card turned out pretty great. And then I did bring in my T-square ruler just because I thought that the letters would look better if they were straight. I mean, you could, of course, make this like uneven intentionally if you wanted to, but I wanted them to be straight because I just felt like it would look better that way, and you would kind of get the punch of this very graphic design quite straightforward. So I thought that was kind of neat, but you could like kind of skew the letters, and I think that would look really neat too, as long as it was intentional. I find it looks kind of funny when it's not intentional, but again, it doesn't matter. You don't need it to be perfect. These are handmade, not Hallmark, as Jennifer McGuire says. So, you know, as long as you're happy with it, it really doesn't matter. And I shouldn't say that, because sometimes we're our own worst critic, and I bet you make a beautiful card and you can't see it, but somebody else can. So it's kind of funny that way sometimes. But yeah, so I will be having, I believe the live is going to be on the 13th, which is 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because it's my time zone. And then I think it's like 6 Eastern Time. I think that's the day that has kind of had the most votes in the community tab with the poll. So that is when the next live will be. We're going to be making envelopes for any of the cards that I don't have envelopes already for, because I have a market coming up. So that's kind of what we're concentrating on. So if you want to come and hang out with me, please do. I would love to see you. It's kind of a chance. If you have any questions for me, you can ask, or you can just come and tell me about you. I'd love to hear it. You know, that kind of stuff. And then I did add these little clouds. This also comes in the same die set. I just wanted a little bit more white in the design. So I kind of opted just to use this little cloud. I ran it through my Sizzix Sidekick again, and then just cut 3 of them out, because you guys know I like uneven numbers. So that kind of just added a little bit more interest and pulled your eye kind of around the card a little bit more, and added just a touch more white to the design, because there isn't a lot of white in this. But I love how this card turned out. It is so cool. I'm not sure if I am going to part with it. Sometimes I make things and I'm like, I don't know if I can give this away or send it away or sell it or whatever it is, but I love how this turned out. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this card come together. Please let me know. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday. And of course, as I said, I have added lives to the channel. So the next one will be on the 13th. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.